Today's story starts with a text message. 5 words. I found someone else. Deal with it. No warning. No conversation. No slow buildup. Just a grenade dropped into a 4-year relationship. And the woman who sent it? She genuinely believed her fiancé would do what he'd always done. Absorb the hit. Swallow whatever he was feeling. And keep everything running while she figured out her next move. His reply? 1 word. Finally. And then very quietly, very deliberately, he started pulling every financial plug he controlled. What happened over the next 3 weeks? Cold. Precise. Legally bulletproof. Strap in. My fiancé texted me. I found someone else. Deal with it. I replied with 1 word, finally. Then I shut down every account I'd been funding. 3 days later, her lawyer wouldn't stop calling. I'm 36. I work in finance. And up until about 2 weeks ago, I was engaged. I say up until, because depending on how technical you want to get, the relationship ended the moment that message came through. We'd been together 4 years. Engaged for 8 months. Wedding already planned. Early summer. Venue booked. Deposits paid. Guest list almost finalized. From the outside, we looked solid. Like everything was right on track. Inside, it was something else entirely. Managed chaos that I kept mistaking for stability. She had a sharp personality. Quick. Direct. The kind of person who calls it honesty when it's really just impatience with better PR. At the beginning, I told myself that was part of the appeal. She was decisive. Knew what she wanted. Didn't waste time sugarcoating things. I liked that. Or at least I thought I did. Because over time, that sharpness started turning in my direction. Small digs wrapped up as jokes. Comments about my job. Stable, but boring. Comparisons to her friends' partners. More exciting. More spontaneous. And then there was her favorite line. You should feel lucky I chose you. She didn't always say it the same way. But the message always landed the same. Usually right after I didn't react the way she wanted. There was a dinner back in February. Me, her, and 2 couples she was close with. Someone mentioned a last-minute trip one of the guys had planned. She looked at me across the table. Smiled. Must be nice. That was it. No follow-up. Didn't need one. By then, I understood exactly what it meant. Just another small deposit. Into the running account of everything she thought I lacked. I kept eating. Said nothing. That was my move. Stay quiet. Stay calm. Tell myself I was being the mature one. She had this recurring theme. That I was too predictable. Too structured. That life with me lacked energy. And she loved bringing up this one guy. Her friend's boyfriend. Freelance. Always moving. Always chasing some new idea. She talked about him like people talk about a movie they've watched 10 times. And still recommend like it's brand new. I met him once. At a birthday thing. Seemed fine. From what I heard. Not exactly consistent with rent. But funny how that part never made it into her version of the story. Now look, I'm not going to pretend I handled all of this perfectly. There were plenty of moments where I should have pushed back. And didn't. I let things slide. Comments that should have been addressed. Ignored. Because I told myself something that sounded smart at the time. That keeping the peace was the same as being mature. It wasn't. But I believed in what we were building. Or at least what I thought we were building. Partnership. Marriage. A future that would eventually settle into something real. We lived together. And financially, I carried most of it. Rent. Utilities. Car insurance. Groceries. Subscriptions. Everything that kept our life running. She contributed when her freelance work was going well. Which was inconsistent. Good months? She'd pick up groceries. Maybe cover dinner. Bad months? She wouldn't mention it. And neither did I. I told myself it was temporary. That things would even out after the wedding. That she'd find something more stable. I held on to that logic. A lot longer than I should have. Looking back, things started shifting. About 8 or 9 months before that text. And I missed it. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when things shifted. There wasn't a single moment. No obvious breaking point. Just patterns. She started taking on less work. Spending more time with a new group of friends. People I barely knew. Coming home later. Replying slower. I noticed all of it. Every detail. And I filed it away under one convenient excuse. She's just going through something. Because I didn't want to be that guy. The one who questions everything. The one who interrogates his fiancé for being busy. But looking back, I wasn't avoiding control. I was avoiding the truth. 3 days ago, Wednesday afternoon, I was at my desk. Normal workday. Nothing unusual. Then the message came in. No, hey, can we talk? No warning. No call beforehand. Just a statement. I found someone else. Deal with it. That was it. No explanation. No apology. Just dismissal. Like she was canceling a subscription she didn't need anymore. And the strange part? It wasn't the betrayal that surprised me. The signs had been there all along. I just kept giving them different names. What caught me off guard was the tone. Casual. Almost smug. Like she expected a reaction. Like she was waiting for it. Calls. Questions. Desperation. Maybe I'd drive home. Maybe I'd fall apart in front of her. Give her the moment. Make her feel the weight of what she'd just done. Instead, I sent one word. Finally. And then I stopped. No calls. No follow-ups. No showing up to demand answers. Nothing. Pause for a second. This is me talking now, not him. I need you to understand what just happened. A 4-year relationship. An engagement. A wedding already booked. Deposits paid. Ended with a text. And his response? Not panic. Not anger. A verdict. Finally. Most people, they spiral. They'd spend hours refreshing social media. Looking for clues. Looking for pain. Stuck in a loop. This man, he opened his laptop. Because what came next wasn't emotional. It was procedural. A controlled demolition. Clean. Documented. Final. Instead of reacting, I started working. I logged into every account I funded. And I shut them down. One by one. No announcements. No dramatic messages. No, you'll regret this. Just administrative cleanup. The joint checking account went first. I rerouted my direct deposit before end of business. Pulled my contribution down to exactly what was legally mine. Left just enough to cover anything already cleared. I don't do reckless. I do precise. I document everything. I move clean. Next, subscriptions. Her phone line? Cancelled. Ported to a new number I controlled. Her service stayed active for about 6 hours. Then dark. Streaming accounts? Logged out everywhere. Cloud storage? Downgraded to free. The gym membership, the one she kept saying she'd use more? Declined. Automatically frozen. Car insurance. Policy was in my name. She was just listed. Removed. Roadside assistance? Gone. The emergency credit card, the one I'd been quietly paying off every month? Cut. No announcement. No explanation. Just gone. I changed passwords. Everything tied to me. Banking. Email. Utilities. All of it. Now, important detail. I didn't lock her out of the apartment. That creates problems. Legal ones. And I don't make messy mistakes. Instead, I packed a bag. And I left. No confrontation. No dramatic exit. Nothing she could screenshot. Nothing she could spin. Just silence. I drove to a friend's place. Stopped on the way. Grabbed a burger. Bacon. No onions. Same order I always get when I need to think. Sat down. Opened my laptop. Finished what I started. That night, she texted again. Different tone this time. Confused. A little irritated. Why isn't my phone working? And why did my grocery order get declined? She added one more thing. Called me immature. Petty. I didn't respond. The next day, she escalated. Calls. Multiple numbers I didn't recognize. Emails. Accusations. Financial abuse. Messages swinging back and forth. Insults. Then sudden attempts at reason. You're overreacting. Couples get through worse. You're just proving my point. She tried every angle, waiting for something to land. I said nothing, and that's when it became clear. She wasn't trying to fix anything. She was trying to pull me back into the conversation. Not apologize. Engage. Because not once, not a single time, did she say, "I'm sorry." Instead, it was, "What did you do to my phone? Why isn't my card working? You're being ridiculous." Every message framed the same way, like I had done something to her, not like she had set any of this in motion. That pattern told me everything I needed to know. She wasn't reacting to losing the relationship. She was reacting to losing the comfort. Then came the voicemails. Different tone. Calm. Professional. "Please return this call regarding an urgent matter." That's when it clicked. She'd made a move I didn't expect. She hired a lawyer. Pause. This is me speaking now, because that part needs context. She sends a 5-word breakup text, and 3 days later, her lawyer is calling about a financial dispute. That's like burning a house down, and then calling someone about smoke damage. For anyone keeping track, she ends a 4-year relationship by text, already seeing someone else, after years of him covering most of the bills. And her opening move? Legal pressure. That's not confidence. That's audacity. Back to him. The voicemail was polite, carefully worded, the kind of tone that tells you he's only heard one side. He said he represented my fiancé, mentioned a domestic financial dispute. He wanted to discuss shared assets, withdrawal of support. Those words stood out immediately. Shared assets, support. I called him back. Once. Kept it short. We're not married. There's no joint lease. No prenup. No written agreement of support. Every account I closed? In my name. Funded by me. Then I asked the only question that mattered. What legal basis do you believe exists here? Pause. Not emotional. Calculating. He asked if I'd be willing to meet. Resolve things amicably. I'll communicate in writing only. He tried again. My client feels blindsided. Destabilized. I didn't react. Your client sent a message ending our engagement and announcing a new relationship with no prior discussion. My response was to disengage, financially and personally. Then again, what's the legal issue? He didn't answer. I ended the call. For minutes, that was it. After that, I documented everything. Timeline, her message, the exact time I received it, every account I closed, when, how, I. Then I emailed it to myself. Timestamped, locked in. If this turned legal, I wanted facts, not narratives, because narratives can be rewritten. Dates? Can't. That's how I think. Finance teaches you early paperwork matters, even before you know it matters. Then she texted again. Different tone this time. No insults. No attitude. Just reframing. I didn't mean it like that. I was emotional. You should have known that. I thought we'd talk like adults. Then came the shift. My response was extreme. Vindictive. And it says more about you than me. I read it once. Didn't reply. Then I kept reading. Because that's when she got specific. She listed expenses. Rent. Utilities. Phone. Groceries. Personal expenses. All the things she believed I was still responsible for. Until she got back on her feet. She even had a term for it. Transitional support. Pause. This is me again. Because let's be very clear. She ends the engagement. By text. Mentions another man. And within 72 hours, there's a lawyer involved, and a bill. For her lifestyle. That's not a breakup. That's a business model. That's not a breakup. That's a business model. She wasn't ending a relationship. She was trying to renegotiate a contract after walking away from it. Full investor pitch energy. Big promises. Zero accountability. And now somehow expecting a refund on the way out. At that point, I had to give her credit. The confidence? Impressive. The logic? Non-existent. I officially named it CEO of other people's overhead. because that's exactly what it was. She tried to cancel the subscription and still keep access to premium features. No commitment, all benefits, bold strategy, no legal ground. That's when something clicked. Clean, final. This was never about heartbreak. This was entitlement doing what it always does. Just louder now, because she thought there were no consequences left. I replied once. Short, direct. The engagement is over. There will be no further financial support. All communication goes through your lawyer. That was it. Then I blocked her. Within an hour, her lawyer called again. Different tone. Gone was the confidence. Now, careful, measured. He asked if I had time to talk. No. Send it in writing. He did. Minutes later. Shorter than expected. No demands this time. Just questions. About the lease. About the accounts. Whether I had ever promised support in writing. Whether any wedding deposits were refundable. That shift told me everything. He had looked at the facts and realized there was nothing there. No marriage. No joint lease. No written agreement. No shared assets. Nothing. He wasn't building a case anymore. He was fishing. And every line came back empty. Around the same time, she tried another angle. A friend's social media account. I blocked that too. But not before reading it. Tone? Back to aggressive. You're ruining my life. You're punishing me for being honest. Real men don't walk away. I didn't respond. But I did something more important. I took screenshots. Because when someone starts rewriting history, you don't argue. You document. Quietly. No signals. No warnings. Just receipts. That evening, I went back to the apartment. She wasn't there. Perfect. I took only what was mine. Clothes. Documents. Electronics. Nothing extra. Nothing questionable. Then I did one more thing. I photographed everything. Every room. Clean. Undamaged. Exactly as it should be. Key? Left on the kitchen counter. No note. No message. Nothing left to say. The next morning, her lawyer emailed again. This time, let's explore mediation. I almost laughed. There was nothing to mediate. No shared future. No assets. No negotiation. Just consequences. I replied in writing. The engagement was terminated by her. No marriage occurred. No joint assets exist. I will not participate in mediation. Further contact should be limited to written communication regarding property retrieval. Clear. Final. 2 hours later, she sent one last email. From her own account. Long bitter. Everything she had left. Heartless. He would never treat me like this. I expected better from someone who loved me. She thought that would land. Didn't. Because what she still didn't understand, the moment she sent that text, she stopped being my responsibility. Pause. Let's zoom out for a second. Because the arc here, wild. Lawyer starts with domestic financial dispute. Shared assets. Fast forward 72 hours, and it's basically, can you just be nice about this? That's not legal strategy. That's panic, compressed into emails. And the craziest part? She believed it would work. Text. He'll fold. Lawyer? He'll panic. Reality? Neither happened. Because confidence doesn't mean anything when the other person has all the receipts and none of the obligations. Then came the first real hit. Rent reminder. Automated email. Payment due. She forwarded it to me. This is due tomorrow. What are you doing? I did nothing. Then came the second hit. The car. She called a mutual friend. Panicking. Insurance app wouldn't load. Roadside assistance said no active policy. No coverage. Nothing. And just like that, reality started arriving. Bill by bill. Feature by feature. Everything she thought would stay, didn't. She thought car insurance just existed. Like gravity. Always there. Always working. It never crossed her mind that someone had been paying for it. Every month. On purpose. By the end of that day, everything shifted. The tone. The energy. The certainty. Gone. What replaced it? Fear. Not loud. Not dramatic, specific, practical. Because fear doesn't sound like anger. Anger is noise. All caps. Accusations. Fear? Short sentences. Less punctuation. Questions. Real ones. When does the insurance stay active until? Is the card permanently canceled? Are you coming back to talk? That's not emotion anymore. That's math. And she was doing it in real time. And for the first time, the numbers weren't working. Not the way they did when she sent that text. I replied once. One sentence. There is no legal or moral obligation for continued support following a termination initiated by your client. That was it. No follow-up. No conversation. And just like that, the call stopped. A week later, I heard through someone else. She was moving out. Not upgrading. Downsizing. Staying with a friend. Trying to figure things out. Selling things. The same things she used to quietly criticize when I bought them carefully. Frugally. The irony? Didn't need commentary. That same afternoon, I canceled the wedding. Officially. Deposits gone. Money lost. No hesitation. Worth it. Clean break. But let me be honest here. Because people love to turn stories like this into victory laps. It wasn't. Losing that money? It stung. Not devastating but real. Venue. Catering. Photographer. Retainers. Close to $8,000. Gone. And I accepted it immediately. Didn't fight it. Didn't dwell on it. But I'm not going to pretend it didn't matter, just to make the story sound better. Because it did. Here's the difference though, it was a fixed cost. Known. Contained. Pay it. File it. Move on. The alternative? Stay. Absorb it. Wait. Hope. That's not a cost. That's a leak. One with no ceiling. And I already knew how it ended. So no, I didn't feel victorious. I felt calm. A very specific kind of calm. The kind that shows up when you stop arguing with reality. And just let it be what it is. There was a moment a few days later. I was at my desk. Actually working. Focused. And then it hit me. I hadn't checked my phone. For 3 hours. Not because I was avoiding it. But because there was nothing to check. No messages I was bracing for. No calls I was dreading. No background tension. Silence. That sounds small. It isn't. Because 3 months earlier that wasn't my normal. My normal was tension. Constant. Low level. Always there. Running in the background like static. I just didn't notice it until it disappeared. And when it did, the absence hit all at once. Then she tried something new. Public pressure. Messages started coming in. People I hadn't heard from in months. Her cousin. An old coworker. A mutual friend. That phrase always means something. It never means neutral. It means someone's already been told a story, and now they're recruiting backup. I just want to understand both sides. No, you don't. You've already picked one. You just want confirmation. Then came the posts. Online. Nothing direct. No names. But just enough for anyone paying attention to connect the dots. Strong woman quotes. Posts about honesty. Men who can't handle the truth. Rebuilding after emotional damage. And of course, support flooded in. From people who only knew one version. The interesting part? How much effort it takes. Posting. Messaging. Managing perception. While real life was stacking up. Rent. Car. Phone. Bills. All real. All immediate. But instead of solving those, she focused on the narrative. How it looked. Who believed what? I didn't realize it then. I see it now. At the time, I just ignored it. Every message. Every post. Every attempt to pull me in. No response. No correction. No my side of the story. Because the truth doesn't need help when the facts are already doing the work. Silence? It destroys that kind of strategy. Faster than any argument ever could. Because she didn't need a fight. She needed a response. Something to keep the story alive. I gave her nothing. And without that, the narrative had nowhere to go. One of the mutual friends reached out. Someone I actually liked. We'd hung out before. Back when things were good. Her message was genuine. Warm. She asked how I was doing. Said she just wanted to check in. We talked a bit, and I could tell she already had a version of events. The one where I snapped, pulled financial support out of nowhere, acted out of cruelty. I gave her the short version. Just facts. No emotion. No embellishment. After that, silence. She didn't argue. Didn't push back. Just disappeared. I don't know if she changed her mind or chose to stay out of it. Either way, that was enough. I wasn't trying to win people over. But I wasn't going to let the truth get buried. Not with someone I respected. Then came a different kind of message. Not attacking. Peeling. She reached out through my mother. Long message. Carefully written. How much she loved me. How confused she was. How she never expected this. How she hoped someone could talk some sense into me. My mom forwarded it. One line. Are you okay? Called her. Walked her through everything. Step by step. No emotion. Just facts. When I finished, she paused. Then said she was proud of me. Said my dad would have said the same. And just like that, that door closed. Quietly. For good. The final move came soon after. A letter. From her lawyer. It looked official. But read like panic. Words like emotional reliance. Implied expectations. A lot of language. But no substance. No actual legal claim. Just another attempt to pull me into a conversation. I didn't respond. 2 days later, another email. Short. Neutral. His client would not be pursuing the matter further. They just wanted to coordinate item pickup. That was it. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just retreat. And then silence. Real silence. No posts. No messages. No indirect attempts. Nothing. But this silence felt different. Not tense. Not waiting for something final. And once everything stopped, I noticed something else. My own head. Quiet. Not empty. Organized. Like a room you finally clear out. After years of stepping around furniture you forgot was even in the way. Everything felt lighter. Even financially. Expenses dropped instantly. No effort. No adjustments. Just less. No hidden drains. No small charges adding up. No background stress about whether things would balance. For the first time, they just did. The emotional side? Different than I expected. I didn't spiral. Didn't miss her the way I thought I would. What I missed was the idea of the future. A version of it I'd already outgrown. And once that was gone, there was nothing left to hold on to. Friends checked in. Asked how I was doing. I told them the truth. Every time. I felt relieved. Not because it ended, but because it ended clean. No bargaining. No dragging it out. No, maybe we can fix this. Just a line. And forward motion. But I'll own my part. Because I wasn't perfect. I let things go on longer than I should have. Ignored red flags. Talked myself out of concerns. Because I didn't want to be the guy who ends a 4-year relationship over small things. But looking back, that wasn't patience. That was avoidance. I chose comfort over clarity. Avoided hard conversations because they felt disruptive. So I absorbed the friction instead. That part? That's on me. I'll own it. But there's a line between making mistakes and deserving what happened. And I know exactly where that line is. She crossed it. Not me. I thought that was the end. It wasn't. About a week later, I was walking home from work. New place. New routine. Everything steady. And then I noticed a car. Parked nearby. Not hers. Different. Borrowed. And the moment she saw me, she stepped out. Started walking toward me. Like it was coincidence. Like she hadn't planned it. Like she didn't know exactly what time I'd be there. And that's when I realized. Some people don't stop until they're forced to. She looked different. Not physically. But something was off. Smaller. Not in size, in presence. The confidence I'd known for 4 years? Gone. Replaced by something urgent. Unsteady. She started talking immediately. Didn't even wait. I just need 5 minutes. You owe me that after 4 years. I said no. And that surprised her more than anything else. She laughed. Like it had to be a joke. like I'd follow it up. I didn't. The smile faded. Frustration replaced it. You're being cruel. We were engaged. That meant something. You owe me a conversation. I looked at her. Calm. The conversation ended when you sent the text. That hit. So she pivoted. I was angry. I didn't mean it like that. I thought you'd calm down. I thought we'd talk it through. Then the truth slipped out. I never thought you'd actually leave. And there it was. The most honest thing she said the entire time. She didn't think there were consequences. She thought I'd stay, adjust, absorb it. Like always, I let her finish. Didn't interrupt. Didn't argue. Just listened. And what stood out wasn't what she said. It was how she said it. Everything was framed around what she expected me to do, not what she had done. Even her apology wasn't an apology. It was frustration. That I didn't follow the script. That told me everything. Not just about that moment, but about the last year. Maybe two. I wasn't a partner. I was a constant. Something she assumed would always be there. No matter what. So I told her, I'm not angry. And that confused her. Because anger she could work with. But that's exactly why the answer is still no. Trust doesn't reset because circumstances change. I'm not available for reinterpretations. That's when she snapped again. Heartless. You're punishing me. I shook my head. Consequences aren't punishment. They're alignment. And with that I walked past her. No drama. No hesitation. No looking back. Just inside. Door closed. Quietly. That night, she texted from a new number. One line. I never thought you'd actually leave. Exactly. That was the point. By then, the new guy? Already gone. A week earlier. I only knew because in one of her last messages, she accused me of turning him against her. I hadn't spoken to him. Not once. He just met reality without a safety net. And decided he didn't want that version. Over the next few weeks, I heard things. Fragments. Through mutual circles. Different versions of the story. In hers, I had changed overnight. Blindsided her. Controlled her financially. It didn't bother me. Because that version needed me to engage. To defend. To argue. And I wasn't doing any of that. What stood out instead was what she left out. Her actual words. Gone. I found someone else. Deal with it. Turned into, I was honest with him. And he overreacted. That gap between what someone does and how they retell it later. That's where trust dies and stays dead. The apartment? Gone. I moved. Smaller place. Closer to work. Quiet. Mine. I sleep better now. Better than I have in years. No background tension. No constant low hum. The kind you don't even notice until it's gone. The wedding deposits? Still gone. Took the hit. Didn't hesitate. Because money comes back. Trust doesn't. I count every dollar lost as tuition. Paid early. Before it cost me years instead of weeks. I changed my routine. Focused on work. Reconnected with people I'd slowly let go. Trying to maintain a life that was never balanced. One of them, an old friend. We'd been close in our mid-20s. Drifted apart over time. Partly because she never liked him. And I stopped making the effort. We grabbed lunch. Couple weeks after everything settled. He asked how I was. I gave him the short version. He laughed. Not at me. At the situation. Then said, yeah, I kind of saw that coming. I asked why he never said anything. He shrugged. Nobody ever wants to hear it before it happens. He's probably right. I wouldn't have listened. And now? It doesn't matter. Because she never reached out again. Not directly. Not through anyone else. Nothing. And that silence? That's how I know it's actually over. Not because she stopped trying. But because there's nothing left to try for. I heard through a mutual. She's still figuring things out. Living situation. Next steps. All of it. I don't know the details. And I didn't ask. Because at this point it doesn't matter. The silence has held. For real this time. Not temporary. Not waiting for another attempt. Just done. because there's nothing left to test. No soft boundaries. No emotional backdoors. Nothing she hasn't already tried and found closed. That's the cleanest ending I've ever had. No loose threads. No what-ifs. Just clarity. And here's what I know now that I didn't before. When someone shows you exactly how little they value your presence, believe them the first time. Don't argue. Don't rationalize. Don't give it 3 more months, hoping it'll mean something different. It won't. Just accept it and respond accordingly. The other thing I learned, I'm not reactive. I'm responsive. There's a difference. Reactive is emotional, impulsive, messy. It creates problems bigger than the original one. Responsive is controlled, measured. You let the information land, decide what it means, and act in alignment with that. She called me cold. I'll take that, because cold just means I was in control. And I was. I'm not rushing to replace anything. No apps, no distractions, no noise. I wake up and everything is mine. The space, the money, the decisions. And none of it feels like loss. Feels right. Like things finally match the way they were supposed to be. I'm not going to wrap this in some speech about knowing your worth. You've heard that before. Here's what actually ended this. It wasn't his reaction. It was her assumption that she could send that message and everything would keep running, like it always had. He didn't punish her. He stopped funding something that was costing him more than it gave back. That's not emotion. That's not revenge. That's not cold. That's accounting. Speech balloon, drop your thoughts below. What would you have done the moment that text came in? Fire, and if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that button, because the next story hits just as hard.